When a ship has completed the building process, it needs to be transported from dry dock to the water, often resulting in a spectacular wave of epic proportion. Sometimes things don't go as planned. Today, we're partnering with Licet Studios to bring you the top 15 most awesome ship launches. Number 15, the RV Seculiac. The research vessel Seculiac was built at a cost of $200 million by the Marinette Marine Corporation in 2014 for the American National Science Foundation. Designed to accommodate up to 26 scientists and students so they can conduct studies on sea ice, its main aim is to further understand the effects of climate change. It's one of the most advanced scientific vessels to have ever been built, and at 261 feet long, it has more than enough space to host a variety of experiments, and even a portable submersible. Weighing 3,724 tons, and with a bow that's 2 feet wider than the stern to help it carve through the ice, this is no ordinary ship. So when it was time to launch it into Lake Michigan in 2012, there was a large crowd of scientists and enthusiasts who wanted to see it enter the water for the first time. There was a moment when it tilted so far to its side that there were gasps, but fortunately the ship corrected itself in the end. Here's what happened. Number 14, Arklow Bridge. Built in 2011, the Arklow Bridge was the latest vessel constructed for Arklow to act as a cargo transport vessel between ports around Europe. With a weight of more than 4,700 tons, it can hold a payload of up to 2,700 tons. And while ships of this size are hardly unusual, it didn't exactly have the most seamless of launches. It was built at the Bordeaux shipyard in Hoogzand, near Groningen, in the Netherlands, and was lifted into the water in January of 2011. Something went wrong with one of the support ropes that was attached to the front tractor, and this was the result. Luckily, no one was hurt and the ship didn't suffer any damage, but it was ever so close and shows just how dangerous every launch can potentially be. Number 13, the Greenland. The MV Greenland is a purpose-built cement carrier that holds the honor of being the world's first liquefied natural gas-powered cargo ship. It has an unusual design that includes vertical fuel tanks in the foreship, and as a dedicated cement transporter, it has automated systems that load and unload its cargo by using compressed air to move it through the pipes, ensuring no dust is produced and that other particles can't contaminate the product. It was constructed as a joint venture between Erik Thun AB and KG Jebsen Cement from Norway and was built at the Ferris Smith shipyard in Leer in Germany. It was launched in October of 2015 before undergoing sea trials and entered service just before Christmas of that year. Number 12, MV Harvey Subsea. The Harvey Subsea is a 5,882-ton offshore supply ship that was built by the Eastern Shipbuilding Group in Panama City, Florida, and entered service in 2017. In 2015, the stern section was launched from the builder's yard and, as is common with ships of this size, it was released into the water sideways. This caught spectators somewhat off guard and led to comical scenes where the wave it produced splashed over the harbor basin and sent people in the nearby area who had positioned themselves way too close running for their lives, even though there ultimately proved to be nothing to worry about. If If you had been there at the time, would you have been tempted to stand as close as those people were? Or would you have expected a wave like that and stood back? Number 11. Symphony Space. Built in 2018, the Symphony Space is a 6,749-ton general cargo vessel that flies under the flag of the Netherlands and is mainly used to move building materials and containers throughout Europe. It was the sixth of a series of 6 virtually identical ships that were constructed by the Ferris-Smith shipyard in Leer, Germany, for Symphony Shipping, and has already significantly increased the company's transport load. It was completed in February of 2018, and here we see it entering the water for the first time. Even though it may have looked rocky, this is as seamless a ship launch as you'll ever see, as they're designed to be able to list at much sharper angles if they ever encounter storms at sea. It does, however, produce a pretty impressive wave that knocks a series of storage crates on the other side of the canal, which makes you wonder why anyone would have put them there in the first place. Number 10. Tasman. The Tasman is a 4,750-ton general cargo ship that was built in 2019. And at 295 feet long, she can carry up to 1,250 tons of cargo. She flies the flag of Barbados, although works mainly around Europe, but she's most famous for a frightening event that took place during her launch, which almost caused several fatalities. She had been constructed at the Royal Boataway Shipyard in Hoogezand in the Netherlands, and was launched in September of 2019. The news of such a large ship being launched attracted a large number of visitors, but one of the support ropes hadn't been moved out of the way. One of the workers went in to remove it, without realizing that the ship had already begun to slide into the water, and resulted in this terrifying scenario. Luckily, the worker managed to get out of the way just in time and wasn't injured, but this was far too close for comfort, and led to the shipyard introducing new rules during launches to prevent anything like it from happening again. Number 9. Esnod 224. The Esnod 224 is a 213-foot-long offshore supply vessel that, without any cargo, weighs around 2,175 tons. It was built by the De Hoop shipyard in the Netherlands for the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and flies the flag of the United Arab Emirates, where it's responsible for delivering supplies to the numerous offshore platforms in the region. It was completed and launched on October 31, 2015, and was the 4th vessel of a series of 10. Local enthusiasts line the shore to see it enter the water for the first time, but when the 5th one launches, it's likely they'll pick a more suitable location. As is surprisingly common during ship launches, the spectators are set up at a position that was far too close to the water, and when the wave from the launch approached, they were soaked. We are constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button. Number 8. Viking Bank. Built at the Ferris-Smith shipyard in Leer, Germany, the Viking Bank is a general cargo ship that first entered service in 2012. It's a huge vessel that's almost 470 feet long and 52 feet wide, and when fully loaded can weigh up to 11,850 tons. It has an average speed of just under 12 knots and is typically used to move containers around the Aegean Sea and further around Europe. It flies under the flag of the Netherlands and made quite the splash when it was launched in March of 2012. As you can see, its enormous weight created a large wave that pushed the towboat clear and flooded the opposite bank of the canal. It soon settled though, and after several weeks of trials at sea, was ready to begin work. Number 7. Arklow Valiant. The Arklow Valiant is a 5,169-ton general cargo ship that's based in Rotterdam and regularly sails routes between the Netherlands, Ireland, and the rest of Europe. At 285 feet long, it's not the biggest of transporters, but this does mean that it's able to access ports that aren't deep enough for larger vessels, so is able to deliver its cargo closer to where it's needed. It was built for the Arklow Shipping Company at the Royal Botowes Shipyard in Hoogezand in the Netherlands in 2016, and was launched into the water on the 1st of April that year. Far from being an April Fool's Day joke, large crowds gathered on the opposite side of the launch canal to see it enter the water, and it didn't disappoint. A moderate-sized wave was formed that was enough to splash the spectators without overwhelming them, but still, some had to climb onto the safety barriers to avoid getting wet. Number 6. Indonesian Trawler. Modern ships are designed to overcome the most testing of oceanic conditions, and while they're built with tolerances to be rocked side to side, it's actually the moment when they're launched that they face the biggest danger. This is why the process is conducted so carefully, with people kept well clear just in case there's an accident. But if something does go wrong after the ship has been released, there's very little anyone can do to rectify the situation, and they simply have to sit back and hope for the best. Not every launch goes entirely to plan, as this video from Jakarta, Indonesia in 2013 shows. The new vessel was being slid into the ocean backward, and several fishing boats were in the bay to watch it as it entered the water.
Kecil, bos. Terbalik. Udahnya cepat, kasih masuk saya juga, kasih masuk.
As you can see, this was far from how it was meant to happen, and the ship was rendered worthless the moment that it capsized. Hopefully, the shipyard that was responsible for this failed launch had insurance, because it would have been an extremely costly mistake to remedy. Number 5. Nordonna C. The MV Nordonna C was built at the Ferris-Smith shipyard in Germany and was the third of 6 new ships that were based on the company's new DP2 EcoBox design. At 400 feet long and 56 feet wide, it has a single hold that's a box shape and a loading floor area for project cargoes. It also has 2 85-ton cargo cranes and a deck house which is placed on the foreship to allow the loading of oversized and awkwardly shaped cargo over the stern. It was completed in 2015 and launched in December of that year in one of the most impressive launches ever caught on camera at the shipbuilders. For a moment, it almost seemed as if it was going to capsize, and then the wave it produced was so large that it came over the opposite bank and splashed the camera. After conducting trials at sea following this, the ship was delivered to the Symphony Shipping Company and was soon on its first voyage to Denmark, where it picked up components for a windmill that were destined for Greece. Number 4. MS Finborg. Built at the Ferris-Smith shipyard in Germany, the MS Finborg is a 512-foot-long general cargo transport vessel that can weigh up to 13,000 tons. It has an average speed of around 12 knots and is generally used for transatlantic journeys, but has recently been sailing between ports on the Great Lakes in North America. It was launched from the shipyard on September 30th in 2011, and with a few specters stood around, everything went exactly to plan. It slid off the dock perfectly and fell into the water as smoothly as you'll ever see. It didn't even produce too big a wave, which is a surprise because smaller ships than this usually cause more disturbances to the water. This event-free launch is a testament to this particular ship design and the way that it keeps afloat, and is one of the reasons why it's been so successful in traveling across the Atlantic. Number 3. Symphony Performer. The Symphony Performer was the first of 2 offshore supply ships that were ordered by the Symphony Shipping Company, and it was built at the Ferrismith shipyard in Leer, Germany. She was specifically designed for long-range journeys and is used to deliver cargo for wind, oil, and gas power projects, as well as supporting deep-sea cable-laying operations. Based on the EcoBox design, the ship has been developed in a way that allows it to operate in all weather conditions with its main deck hatches open, and is fitted with the state-of-the-art DP2 dynamic positioning system that ensures no matter what condition it has to sail through, it'll always take the planned route to its destination. Crucially, the cargo hold can contain a volume of 429,000 cubic feet, and there are very few components that can't fit inside. To assist with loading, it has 2 cargo cranes, each of which can carry up to 85 tons at a time. It was an impressive feat of engineering that was completed in 2016 and was launched in October of that year to the excitement of the gathered crowds. Number 2. USCGC MACKINAC. The USCGC MACKINAC is a 240-foot-long vessel that was built to be used as an icebreaker in the Great Lakes under control of the Coast Guard. The lakes are a vital trade network for the region, and the MACKINAC helps to ensure that other vessels can pass by unencumbered, even in the coldest of weather. With a top speed of 16 knots, it can also perform other Coast Guard duties, so is equipped with 2 machine guns and an armament of smaller guns just in case they're needed. Thanks to its 2 azimuth thrusters along with the bow thruster, the ship is able to continue at a constant speed through ice that's up to 32 inches thick. Because the thrusters can be turned 360 degrees, there's no need for a rudder, and instead of a ship's wheel, everything is steered with a central command console. The state-of-the-art ship was built at a shipyard in Marinette, Wisconsin, and had a somewhat eventful launch into Lake Michigan. While this was a surprisingly violent sideways launch that created a huge wave, it only served to prepare the MACKINAC for what lay ahead. It has a particularly accident-prone entry to service, and struck a seawall on its way to its new home port in Sheboygan, Michigan, which put a 10-foot dent in the bow. Needless to say, the captain in charge that day was relieved of duty and replaced with someone more trusted with the valuable vessel. Number 1. Private Yacht. Private yachts are undoubtedly the epitome of luxury, and an absolute must-have of any self-respecting millionaire or billionaire who want the world to know how wealthy they are. Those that are buying one that's brand new will often be involved in its design and will almost certainly be there when it's first launched, so you can only imagine the embarrassment by the workers involved in launching this multi-million-dollar yacht. With the intended new owner watching on as the crane dropped his new pride and joy, there was nothing anyone could do as it flipped over and capsized. It was completely destroyed with no chance of salvage. You just have to hope for the owner's sake that they hadn't formally accepted the delivery. Watch our Waves playlist for more top 15 videos about massive waves. Sit back, relax, and binge watch all of our best wave videos.